Hello, welcome to the channel and another episode of The Woo. Today we're going to be reviewing the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro 2.0. Oh, it's a mouthful. So I got this for £180 from the Adidas store. I got it straight away as it was released. My size UK 7. So in the UK size 7 it weighs 212 grams and that's about 7.5 ounces. So it puts this in the super light category shoes. Not as light as something like the Vaporfly, but I would still put it in that overall category of a super light racing shoe, which I always like. So it's actually a very high stack shoe. I think it's nearly pushing up to the 40mm mark. 39.5mm in the heel. Down on the forefoot is a 29.5mm, which gives a 10mm offset drop. The upper has a Cellar Mesh 2.0 is what Adidas call it. And it's like this plasticky feeling, super transparent, super thin upper that Adidas have got, and it's partially recyclable, I think. That's what they're saying. As you can see, my fingers just show straight through the shoe. It is so see-through, it is so light, it's so flexible. It's really nice, the upper. So moving on to the midsole, it has 2 layers of Adidas's Lightstrike Pro foam. This is their sort of premium foam that they put in their races. On top of the midsole of the Lightstrike Pro, we have a actual carbon fiber plate, but that's just in the heel, in the forefoot and midfoot area. Layered between the Lightstrike Pro foam, you have what Adidas call carbon fiber energy rods, which are kind of like little rods that try to mimic the metatarsal of the foot. See how spaced out they are rather than one solid piece. So it looks pretty cool. And it's very different to the other companies out there, but whether it makes a difference in the runs, we'll find out. So the first fit feel, something I like to always do with a new shoe is just to put them on, see how they feel indoors, walk around with them and lace them up and just see if there's any little problems that you may think could be bigger on the run. So when you try to go into the shoe, one thing I did notice, which was actually quite annoying straight away, is that when you actually try to adjust the laces to get that, that lockdown, the right tightness, the laces don't actually move anywhere. These ones, when you try to pull these lower ones to the middle ones to the higher ones, or vice versa, and you go down the other way, I found this one really difficult. The laces would just not move at all. So luckily that the actual lockdown was nearly spot on anyway, so I only had to adjust the top 2 loops. If you're the sort of person that likes to get really customized with your lockdowns, I think you definitely will have a little bit of an issue with these laces. So the first thing about the upper is that it really is quite flexible. It's not stiff at all. It's very thin, very light, wraps really nicely. Got a little wiggle room in there, not too tight on the sides. You can sort of like move around your toes, and had a little bit of space in the front like you should do, and everything felt just right. UK 7 fit true to size, perfect. So moving on to the actual foam of the shoe and how it feels, it's not as bouncy as I thought it would be. It wasn't uncomfortable or anything like that. It was just a little bit firm, a little bit rigid, and actually a little bit unstable as you kind of walk around. Also, you feel quite high off the ground. The high stack is there. When you combine that with the actual formation of the sole, you can actually see Adidas have cut away quite a large piece actually, just below the midfoot and where the arch is. And it does feel a little bit weird when you're walking around. Also, if you look at the heel as well, slanted, just to take away some of the foam there. I'm not too sure exactly why. I'm guessing it's just to sort of improve the running cycle, the running gait of if you were to heel strike. There's a lot going off with this shoe. It's not straightforward. Weird sensations going off, and the rods, how they curve right down and up. as that rocker feel. You do feel it. I've done around 60k on these. I like to do at least 50 to make sure I give the shoes a proper test before I like to review them. I have enough information to give the pros, so let's move on to those right now. Let's talk about the first one, and that is the midsole performance once you hit sort of tempo speeds. Like a medium firm smooth return of energy with those rods. You can feel it, you can feel that sort of roll off, and it's quite nice. It's really smooth when you go those paces. So yeah, it's a nice feeling. You do feel like you are getting that return of energy, and the shoe starts to come alive at that speed for me. Yeah, it's certainly not like the Vaporfly. When you put that on, you suddenly start bouncing. It makes you feel like you want to go, and it almost feels like it's going to sort of bounce and push you along. This one does not feel like that initially when you're going at slower paces, but when you hit those tempo paces and anything faster, it really starts to come alive. It starts to feel like, yes, the foam is working for me now. Really nice feeling. When you're going the longer distances, you don't have to worry about starting to feel the ground in the midfoot area. There's plenty of cushion in the back of where the heel is as well. If your form starts to drop and you start to heel strike a little bit as you fatigue. Breathability, it feels like plastic, so you know, it almost looks like it could be waterproof. It's not a material that's going to take a lot of water, so yeah, breathability was good. Keeps light all the way through. And it is a light shoe. That's another good thing about it. I would put this in a super light category of a shoe. So yeah, that's a great positive about this shoe. Traction, the grip that you get from this shoe. When you look at this shoe and you look at the outsole, you just think it's going to be so difficult to get any traction, because there is no raised grooves. It's just one smooth, I mean, I say smooth, it's got a little bit of texture on it, but it just looks like it's going to slide all over the place. But actually, I don't know how Adidas have done it, to be honest, because this is probably the best traction I've got in any shoe I've ever worn. When I was taking tight corners and narrow paths, I was just blazing through them and not having to slow down. These, yeah, really confident in tackling that sort of condition. There's a little bit of continental rubber on the front. I think that's there for durability. Really good outsole, really good traction. If it stays like this for the miles to come, unbelievable. Well done, Adidas, on that. Another pro is the price. For me, the price is really good. I know it's $180, it's an expensive shoe, of course. Marathon racing, carbon plated, all that lot. They are expensive, but if you consider where it sits in the market, it is a elite marathon running shoe that Adidas have put out in the market against all the other ones that are pushing well into the 200s now. But 180, it's cheaper than the Endorphin Pro, it's cheaper than the RC Elite 2, it's cheaper than the Asics Meta Sky, it's cheaper than the Vaporfly, it's cheaper than the On Cloud Echo Boom or whatever that's called. Adidas have put this at 180, and yeah, I was really happy with that. So what are the cons of the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro 2? Oh, Adidas need to sort that out for sure. Yeah, that's actually a con. Adidas, sort your naming system out, because it's confusing me. I can't even say it. Well, generally speaking, I'll just sort of round up the cons, because it really is just about the feeling of the stability and the performance of the shoe at slower paces. So I know it's a race shoe, I know you're supposed to be going fast in them, but it's not very versatile for sure. Like I say, it's not very stable because of the physical attributes of the shoe. Now with this cutout, I'm not sure, after running in these shoes, I'm not sure if this is some sort of marketing ploy from Adidas to say, look, hey, the first edition of this shoe had carbon fiber rods, but you couldn't see it. I almost feel like the second version, they wanted to say we've got rods in there. They didn't really need to cut that out, to be honest. From a performance view, I think to cover that section, surely it's not a lot of weight to take away, and it actually feels quite strange when you're going at slow paces, or if you do land a little bit back there, You can actually see some scrapes on the carbon rods, gravel and things that have scratched it. So yeah, I'm not sure why with that sort of slanted heel as well. It's just a little bit, how would I say, there's almost too much going off. The way it feels on your foot, how it doesn't really give you that initial feeling of being quick, nimble in this shoe, because when you go at the slower paces it just feels a little bit clunky. With the energy rods as well, you can actually feel that they are sort of energy rods rather than a full plate because of the spacing between the rods. All of it starts to, you know, feel a little bit weird at slower paces, so I think it lacks a little bit of versatility compared to the other shoes. So overall, what do I think about the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro 2? Well, I think this is a great shoe. I think I'm going to use this for the longer distance races. What I'd really use this for is what I was looking for, is the long distance marathon. This is just my opinion, but if you're looking to run a marathon and you are running probably slower than, you know, like a 5-minute kilometer pace, I wouldn't really recommend these, because for me anyway, again, just my opinion, that these shoes don't really feel great until you hit 4:45 kilometer pace. That's just my opinion. I know everyone's different, so that's how I got on with the shoe. So yeah, overall, Adidas, well done, you've made a great shoe, and yeah, I will probably be racing a marathon in these in the next few months. So if you like that episode, please subscribe and share, and I'll see you next time on the Woo.